Yeah, great. That's fantastic, mate. Thank you. Now, we've had a couple of questions trickling in, which a few themes emerging and was in line with my next question to you as well. So that's great timing. I guess pivoting to a bit more of a tactical level now, Alistair, we've had Suzanne Richards ask, have you changed or implemented new channels or tactics to communicate to your store members? And we've had another attendee, an anonymous attendee, which is completely fine, who's asking along similar lines, Alistair, with such a diverse workforce, both geographically and demographically, again, what mix of tools have you landed on to ensure you're reaching your audience, e.g. EDMs, video, developing internal spokespeople? So interested at a tactical channel level, Alistair, what's sort of working, what's not at the moment?
Yep. Hi, Suzanne. How are you? Nice. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're keeping well. Suzanne and I worked together at Medibank briefly, and I think Suzanne's still at 7-Eleven, so I'm sure she's facing some of the same challenges. Yeah, I mean, look, we like a lot of big organisations had an existing or have an existing framework for internal comms that's stood the test of time and stood up to many challenges. So that, by kind of nature, is quite operational. So we have a routine and a rhythm of communications that goes to store managers and regional managers and into stores, and informs the huddles that happen each morning in our stores and all of those sorts of things. So those have probably not changed greatly. The type of content and information that's going into those channels has stayed the same. They're probably the three things that we've done a lot more of that I think we tried early on and found them to be effective, so kept doing them. The first one was using the external media quite deliberately to reach our team members. So, you know, as the question, one of the question asks, with so many team members, we don't, you know, not all of our team members are in our stores every day. We have casual team members that might work a small number of shifts a week, and you know, sometimes the easiest way to reach team members, you know, in an immediate sense is through the external media. And we used breakfast TV particularly as a way of getting that message across in a strong and very public fashion, not just to team members, to customers and members of the public as well, around what we were doing to ensure people's safety and to put that out in a very public fashion. So if you tuned in during March, you would have seen to the Today Show or to Sunrise, you would have seen our Chief Operations Officer out there pretty much every day talking about, initially about toilet paper and all of those supply issues, and then very much about what we were doing to ensure people's safety. So sort of a deliberate use of the external media was one. The second one, I think someone might have asked, it was around video. I mean, we obviously used video a lot already, but the volume and use of video went up massively, and partly that was just it's one thing to say to people, you know, don't worry, there's plenty of toilet paper in the distribution centre, it's on its way. And there's another, you know, it's another thing altogether to sort of take a phone into a distribution centre and go, look, there's, you know, more toilet paper here than the Australian nation is going to need for the next 6 years. Here it is. And I think being able to do that sort of thing, similarly around safety, with rolling out things like, you know, markers on floors and screens and this sort of thing, to be able to show that to people. I mean, these are new things that people, team members haven't seen before, and being able to say to them, look, these measures are coming, here's what they look like, has been really effective. We've done a lot of one-on-one chats with particularly our COO, but our CEO as well. So we've had health experts in. We had a very senior epidemiologist come in, and we had our COO talk to them about some of the reasons why things like hand washing is so important, and why, for instance, we weren't advocating the use of masks in stores, which a lot of team members, you know, were asking. So video, for lots and lots of reasons, has been really, really important. Yeah. The third one, which I think is kind of interesting and perhaps new for us, is we've used this period to perhaps build more personal relationships with our team members. Obviously, Coles engages our team as Coles, and we have Yammer and lots of other channels. But we felt quite early in the COVID crisis that emailing our team members at their home personal addresses was the right thing to do, because we were talking to them about their own well-being and their safety. And often we're conscious when we email a team member at home, we may be also talking to their parents. You know, we've got a lot of team members in our stores who, you know, for, I think 14 years and 9 months, I got my first job or whatever it was. So, you know, we have a lot of people whose parents very understandably are concerned about their well-being. And so when we write to people almost in a sort of old-fashioned way to people at home, to their own email addresses, we know it's something perhaps their family might see, or they might share it with their partner or their parents, or their kids for that matter. So we've kept that up. We're sending an EDM out every Friday night to all of our team members, and almost using that as a little bit of a catch-all for some of the things that we might be during the week, but also using it, I guess, as a very personal way of connecting with people individually and addressing their individual and personal concerns, not just, you know, as a kind of Coles team member. So look, I think we're still trying things. You know, I think situations like this, you get the opportunity to try some things. If they don't work, you don't use them. If they do work, you keep going.
When we were chatting the other day, one of the things I said I was really enjoying, and it's not necessarily internal comms, but it sounded like you'd found a way to make it internal comms, is the Coles cook at home videos, which I enjoy seeing during the news because it makes me feel better about my own cooking. But then you very insightfully said that you guys were repurposing some of that concept internally, Alistair, and getting senior managers to submit their own videos in-house, which I thought was just a nice little fun initiative to perhaps restore a bit of morale and maybe keep people quite, you know, positive. Would that be a fair remark?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, so we've had cook-offs, and I mean, the nature of that campaign is like it's amateurish, right? I mean, despite the fact they're very professional chefs, you've got people filming stuff on their iPhones in their kitchens. And I know our marketing and media team are sort of looking at their previous agency costs thinking, oh, we could probably do things a bit cheaper in the future now. But for us, it was great in that it and we're still doing it. You know, it allowed us to tap into something that we've all got in common at home. And look, Coles' purpose is sustainably feeding all Australians to help them lead happier, healthier lives. So food is very much at the centre of what we do as a company and our purpose as a company. So it's been fun using that vehicle to celebrate that internally. And I think more generally finding moments of joy and fun and humour amidst all of this is really important. You know, we had some fun with toilet paper internally early on because it kind of was absurd, you know, and I think our team members on the shop floor could see how absurd, you know, our customers could see the whole thing was a bit absurd, and not to make light of the gravity of it in terms of our customers at all, but simply to have some fun with the fact that this is happening. None of us have dealt with this before. It's kind of a bit crazy, and acknowledging that in our communications, and whether that's, you know, on Yammer, just celebrating some of the fun stuff going on. We've had, you know, thousands of TikTok dances on our Yammer feed, and a lot of those have made their way out externally. And I think that stuff's critical. You know, I mean, it's that they're hard enough jobs as it is. In, you know, for those who are watching, if you've worked in a supermarket or a warehouse, they're not easy jobs, and they're demanding jobs at the best of times. But some of the experiences and the demand on team members in that period was you know, extraordinary. And so I think finding ways to celebrate teams for and allowing them to have some fun and celebrating that fun is really, really important.